It was just before dawn when we left the village behind. The cold air bit at our cheeks, and a soft fog drifted over the low hills, giving the forest an eerie calm. You could hear nothing but our boots on damp soil and the occasional distant bark of a dog. We weren't just out here for sport. The wild boars had once again started destroying crops, digging deep into farmland, and causing serious damage to the locals. Something had to be done. Our team was ready. Dogs trained for scent trailing ran ahead of us, weaving through the underbrush. We moved quietly, eyes sharp, fingers close to the trigger. Not long after entering the woods, the dogs stopped. They had picked something up, tails rigid, noses to the ground, growling softly. Suddenly, a loud bark pierced the silence. Then another. Within seconds, the stillness of the forest shattered. The first boar exploded from the bushes in front of us. A big one. Fast. Muscular. I instinctively raised my rifle. One shot. Missed. The second clipped its leg. The third hit home. It stumbled, slid, and collapsed right before the old oak tree to our left. The adrenaline rush? Unmatched. But we weren't done. Not even close. That was just the beginning. We continued deeper into the forest. Our dogs led us through dense thickets, muddy slopes, even a dry creek bed. We paused often to listen, scan the horizon, and read tracks. Just as we reached a small hill clearing, we spotted movement. Three boars moving together along the edge of the trees. "Take the left," I shouted, raising my scope. The first dropped instantly with a clean shot to the neck. The second turned and darted downslope. Sem fired and hit it square in the shoulder. The third ran wide, but our friend Edric flanked around and managed a quick, precise shot before it disappeared into the thicker woods. Within the first 2 hours, we had already brought down 6 boars. Now, if you're enjoying this wild adventure so far, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps support the channel and lets us bring you even more real hunts from deep in the wilderness. And don't forget to give the video a like if this is the kind of raw, honest hunting content you enjoy. After a short break, water, some bread, and a few laughs, we moved to a new zone. Locals had reported a large herd frequenting the area just past the river bend. As we approached, the dogs went crazy again. Something was definitely nearby. That's when all hell broke loose. A group of at least 8 wild boars came charging out of the brush, scattering in all directions. I managed to drop one with my first shot, then quickly aimed and hit another just before it vanished into a patch of reeds. Sem and Edric took down 3 more between them. It was fast, intense, and chaotic. Exactly the kind of action we live for. One of the boars, wounded but still moving, tried to escape across the shallow river. I ran to higher ground, waited for the right moment, and pulled the trigger. The shot echoed, and the boar fell into the water with a splash. We tracked the rest of the herd into the hills. The terrain was steep, rocky, and unforgiving. Several times we had to stop to catch our breath, but every time we heard a rustle, we were ready. By late afternoon, we had over 12 confirmed kills. The sun began dipping low, casting long shadows across the trees. That's when we heard it. A low, deep grunt from the thicket ahead. Something big. We froze. Seconds later, a massive male boar, the biggest I've seen in months, emerged. It wasn't running. It was charging. I raised my rifle, heart pounding. The first shot hit its shoulder, barely slowing it. Second shot, a hit to the chest. Still, it kept coming. Sem stepped in and fired twice. Finally, it dropped just a few meters from us. That beast must have weighed over 180 kilos. That was the trophy of the day. We ended the hunt as the last light of the sun faded. The forest, now quiet again, felt different, like it knew we had earned our place there. We sat on the tailgate of the truck, bloodied boots, tired smiles, and a full day behind us. And hey, if you've stayed with us until now, thank you. That means you're one of the real ones. So if you haven't already, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this video with fellow hunters. Your support keeps us out here doing what we love and showing you the raw side of wild hunting. Until the next one, stay sharp, stay safe, and respect the wild. After dragging the massive boar back to the truck with ropes and all our strength, we knew the day had already been a huge success. But something about the forest that evening told us the hunt wasn't over just yet. The dogs were restless, sniffing the wind and pacing back and forth. Even though our muscles ached, we felt it too. That sense, that old hunter's instinct, there were still more out there. We decided to press on into the northern side of the woods. This section was thicker, darker, and far less traveled. The sun had dipped below the horizon, leaving only a bluish glow in the sky and long black shadows between the trees. Flashlights clicked on. Rifles were reloaded. Our boots crunched softly over fallen leaves as we made our way deeper in. It wasn't long before we found fresh tracks, massive ones. This wasn't just any boar. This was something dominant. You could feel it in the broken branches, in the heavy trail left in the mud. We followed it carefully, staying quiet, barely breathing. The dogs were completely focused now, ears up, tails stiff, eyes locked forward. Then it happened. A sudden snort, heavy breathing. Just ahead, in a clearing between the trees, we saw him. A black giant, easily pushing 200 kilos, rooting through the ground without a care in the world. It hadn't seen us yet. The wind was in our favor. I slowly raised my rifle, adjusted the scope, held my breath, and fired. The shot rang out across the forest. The boar jerked, spun, and charged straight into the trees. I fired again, hit. It kept going. Sem followed up with 2 more rounds, and finally, the monster dropped just before reaching the tree line. The dogs reached him first, barking wildly around the motionless body. We approached in silence, adrenaline still pumping. That boar was an absolute beast. Thick neck, long tusks, powerful legs. One of the biggest we've taken this season. It took all 4 of us to lift and secure it for transport. If you're still watching and feeling the thrill with us, seriously, don't forget to subscribe. These hunts are raw, real, and filmed out in the wild with no second takes. Every like, comment, and share helps us grow and brings you deeper into these authentic experiences. We appreciate every single one of you. The forest felt quiet again after that, as if it had given us one last gift, and now it was time to rest. But our dogs had other plans. They picked up another scent, this time from the lower marshes, not far from a collapsed wooden bridge. We followed, moving through thick reeds and soft earth until we heard another burst of rustling nearby. 3 boars, a smaller group this time, dashed through the tall grass. Sem took the lead. He fired and dropped the first with a clean shoulder shot. I moved to the right and managed to get a clear line on the second, landing a shot just behind its ear. The third ran far, but Edric, from a higher slope, anticipated its path and finished it with one sharp crack of his rifle. Now we were up to 16 boars for the day. We sat down for a moment after that, not to rest, but to take it all in. The sky was now pitch black. Stars peeked through the canopy above us. The cold was biting again, but none of us felt it. There's something deeply satisfying about a hunt like this. Not just the trophies, not just the action, but the connection to the land, to your team, and to the moment itself. We loaded the last of the wild boars, packed up our gear, and made our way out of the woods under the moonlight. And before we close out this hunt, one last reminder. If you enjoyed this video, or just respect what we do out here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming hunts. We've got new locations, tougher terrain, and even more intense wild boar action coming soon. Thanks for being part of this wild journey. Until next time, stay safe, aim true, and respect the hunt. Just when we thought the night was over, the radio crackled. "Movement on the ridge," came the voice from one of our spotters who had stayed back to watch from an elevated point above the valley. We exchanged quick glances. No one said a word. We simply nodded, grabbed our rifles again, and turned toward the slope that rose along the edge of the clearing. Climbing that terrain after a full day of hunting wasn't easy. Our gear felt heavier, our legs sore. But the dogs were ahead of us, ears perked and bodies low, tracking something with pure focus. We trusted them. They hadn't been wrong once today. As we neared the top, we stopped, froze actually. Below us, in a shallow basin hidden by tall grass and brush, was an entire herd of wild boars, easily 20 strong. Some were young and fast, others older and bigger. But what caught our eye was one absolutely colossal male, standing at the edge of the group, grunting and pacing like he knew we were near. We didn't have time to plan. The dogs barked, loud, sharp, breaking the silence. The boars panicked and scattered in all directions. Chaos erupted. Shots rang out. I aimed left and dropped one that tried to break through the undergrowth. Tem fired twice and brought down 2 more on the ridge edge. Dust and leaves flew up as the herd tried to vanish into the night. But the moonlight, bright and full, lit the hillside enough to see shadows move. I spotted the giant again, the alpha boar. He wasn't running, not yet. He turned, head lowered, snorting like a bull. I held my breath, steadying my rifle. Time seemed to slow. Then, just as he began to charge, I fired. The shot hit hard, but the beast kept coming. I fired again, missed. Then Kem joined in. His shot caught the boar's shoulder, staggering it. One final shot from Edric dropped it just meters from where we stood. The ground shook as it fell. Silence followed. We stood there for a moment, hearts pounding, barely believing what had just happened. The giant was finally down. The herd was gone, scattered into the darkness, but we had taken down 5 more boars in just a few minutes. That brought the total for the day to 21 confirmed. As we inspected the final prize, it was hard not to feel respect. This one had seen years, survived battles, outsmarted many, until tonight. It took 3 of us and all our effort to move him onto a sled for dragging. The adrenaline masked our exhaustion, but we knew the toll would hit us tomorrow. Back at the trucks, we sat on the tailgate, sweat freezing to our jackets, and just listened to the forest breathe. An owl hooted in the distance. A breeze rustled the branches. The fire we lit crackled with warmth and smoke. If you've stayed with us this far into the video, you're one of us now. This isn't just a hunt, it's a way of life. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you turn on the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. We've got more intense locations, new strategies, and even night vision gear coming up soon. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for riding with us through the mud, the blood, and the thrill of the chase. This is wild boar hunting at its rawest. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and never let your guard down in the woods.